I, 27M, am feeling jealous over how much money my friend, 23M, has made. I am sure most of you have heard of GameStop stock going crazy recently. This is related. I first started investing in stocks back in 2018. I started with roughly 4-6k. I was on my own, so I was always doing research. I would trade while learning. I might have made like 1-2k or something that year, don't remember. Then 2019, I was getting the hang of it more and ended the year with 18k. I deposited about 4k in my account. Then 2020 I had a good year and ended with about 30k. Along the way I made some losses and learned a lot. Then comes my friend. First, he's younger than me and straight out of college he got a high-paying job at his dad's work. I was glad for him. He always looked up to me asking me about stocks. Finally a couple months ago, he says he made an account with 15k and wants to trade stocks with me. So I've been giving him tips and so in 2020 we were both making money. But then this week, during the whole GameStop craze, I didn't want to get involved. I tend to stay away from really volatile high-risk stocks. But my friend wanted, so I decided to play with some money. My friend went all in. He had about 20k. Now I was happy to have made the returns over my small investment, but then my friend showed me his account. He turned his account from 20k to 90k in a week. He showed me this morning, and I just been feeling so jealous I hate it. I was proud of my humble growth with stocks but not anymore. In what I grew in 3 years, he has ended up having almost 3x the amount of my entire portfolio in the span of a couple months. Does anyone have any advice for me on not to feel this way? Question mark. Too long didn't read. Me and my friend trade stocks. My friend who just recently joined, whereas I've been doing it for a couple years, has managed to make near 3x my portfolio. Now I am feeling shitty. You made the right play. 9 times out of 10 those situations end up screwing you over. If someone is winning big it means lots of people are losing. Just so happens he got lucky this time. Also if he hasn't sold his position yet he could still lose in the end. That stock is going to crash like a meteor and lots will be left out to dry. It's funny you said this because just hours ago, another Redditor made a post on how he lost 60k on GameStop due to issues with his broker. For every lucky guy like your friend, there's another guy who made a loss. You just don't see/realize it. Going all in on a crazy volatile stock was a gamble and it paid off for him this time. But it was a huge risk. Be happy for him and continue to focus on maintaining your risk profile and judge your success over 10 trades, not one. Stock trading, generally, is a long game, especially if you're aiming for a retirement. Just because the risk paid off doesn't mean it wasn't high risk, especially when you look at things like Robinhood forcibly cashing people at low values. Dude gambled and won. It's not massively different to putting it all on red at the casino. That doesn't invalidate your strategy. Think in 20 to 30-year yields. High risk, high rewards. If you want to get rich quick, just go into a casino and you can triple your money by winning twice with better odds than betting on a meme stock. 20k to 90k sounds amazing until you end up losing everything. As long as your friend keeps that kind of risk appetite, he's going to lose everything one day. It's not an if, it's just a when. My 29F boyfriend 29M is a sperm donor for friends of his. I am deeply uncomfortable, and don't know how to move forward. My boyfriend 29M and I 29F have been together 3 years and are renovating a house together. I want to have children of my own, and had hoped it would be with my current BF. In other words, it's a serious committed relationship. He decided to become a sperm donor for a lesbian couple he is friends with last year. I was involved in some early conversations, and expressed my extreme discomfort with the whole decision. Ultimately, it was clear that he plus the couple both really wanted to do this, so I gave my support while stating my boundary. I wanted some emotional space from the situation, don't want a relationship with the child, and didn't want to be involved moving forward. Couple lives in our neighborhood, and are now pregnant. I don't want to pursue or continue a friendship with them. It's been very difficult for me, but I am in therapy and am trying to work on accepting this reality. I usually get emotional when the topic comes up with my BF, and he gets frustrated with me. In his ideal world, we would all be friends, and the topic wouldn't be so emotionally triggering for me. While the couple he is friends with are lovely people, I can't seem to push past my discomfort. I get frustrated because I clearly stated my boundary from the beginning. Am I wrong for feeling uncomfortable about this situation? How do I work towards a place of being more okay with this? Does our relationship stand a chance? I constantly judge myself about not being open-minded or flexible enough to handle this. Any other insight or advice would be appreciated. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend decided to be the sperm donor for friends of his. My efforts of becoming comfortable with this arrangement have proved unsuccessful, and he's frustrated that it is so difficult for me. How do I move forward with him in this relationship? Edit, first time really posting on Reddit, so am overwhelmed with the responses. Reading your thoughtful and critical comments has helped me see that I placed an impossible boundary that cannot be upheld, and is disrespectful to my partner and the couple and the future child. It also helped me clarify the reasons I am uncomfortable. It has much less to do with the biological aspect, and more to do with the fact I don't feel secure in the future of my relationship, and as I approach 30 my desire to be a mother is growing. In a 3-year committed relationship, my desire is that my BF plus I make big decisions that affect both of us together. I believe in autonomy within a relationship, but this fundamentally affects both of us. It very much felt like he decided this is what he was going to do, and then ran it by me. And conversationally, I didn't feel heard or validated in my concerns/emotions, and instead judged for not being on board with the whole arrangement. I suppose if the initial conversations had felt more balanced and compassionate, I may feel differently today. To that point, the first time I felt validated in my emotions was talking to the couple early on. I was extremely emotional and they held space for that and were really understanding. This has much more to do with my BF's response to my anxieties/concerns in retrospect. I also could have been more respectful in our initial conversations but was instead reactive and emotional. Lesson learned. I'm confused about your boundary that you set. If your boundary was that you wanted no relationship with the child but he was going to go ahead with being the donor anyway with the intention, and contractual entitlement, to have a relationship with the child, should that have not been an indicator that you weren't compatible? Your boundaries don't work together. It's realistically impossible for you as his spouse to have no relationship with this child that he intends to have a family type of relationship with. An extended family relationship indicates that they will see each other. There will be family gatherings and other milestones that your spouse will attend. He will see the child's parents who are seemingly good enough friends with him that he'd agree to this huge favor. Were you intending to noticeably remove yourself from all of these interactions? Were you intending to make him choose between you and them at these times? That would never work. It would be a constant conflict. The reality is you didn't hold to your boundary. You accepted that he was going to breach your boundary by having a relationship with them, which automatically includes you as his partner. Now you need to decide if it was really a boundary to begin with and move on, or accept the new reality that your life will include this child and their parents. You need to give some serious thought to this relationship and whether you want to stay together or not. This child is going to be a part of your life going forward, and quite frankly I don't think your boyfriend should have gotten involved with the sperm donation with people who are friends and live close by. I think it's all well and good to remember that he is not the dad. With that said, I don't think I could stay in the relationship until I really understood what role he plans on playing in the child's/the couple's life. On the one hand, I went to school with my brother's other half-sisters, and lived within walking distance. We were friendly but not close. I never felt they were family. On the other hand, my parents had two friends who approached my dad to be a sperm donor. He declined as he could not be close to a child he knew he fathered while also knowing he has no say in its life. On that last note, does your boyfriend really accept this reality? Does the couple? With all due respect, people who are saying he'll just be an uncle don't actually know that that's how your boyfriend will see himself, or how he'll act, or how the couple will treat him. I think sperm donation is a very wonderful thing, but also not the best thing for friends to do. Thanks for your perspective. I also think sperm donation is wonderful, and when I take myself out of the situation I feel what he did for them is so amazing and generous. He plans to be like an extended family member. No parental responsibilities, but he wants to have a relationship with the child. That's what he's communicated to me, and what he's agreed upon with the couple, both verbally and contractually. If I continue in my stance of not wanting to have a relationship with the couple/child, I foresee it being a huge issue in years to come. I get frustrated because I clearly stated my boundary from the beginning. But you didn't actually do this. All you said is you were uncomfortable. You didn't actually draw a line that would carry consequences if crossed. You simply said you didn't want to be involved, and now you've moved the goalposts and are actively trying to remove them from his life by banning one from the house. How is her working on the house related to you not being involved with the baby? That's pure retaliation. The baby isn't even born yet. You're free to leave, but next relationship make sure that you actually state your deal breakers rather than add them in after the fact. I, 29M, was not invited to be a part of one of my best friends, 29M, wedding party. Not sure how to handle it. TL, doctor, wasn't invited to be my best friend of 12 years groomsman, but his fiance's little brother, who he has known for 1 year and doesn't really associate with, was. I apologize in advance for using the pronoun he and his a lot. There's 5 guys in this story, myself included, and I know a few of them browse this sub, so keeping it vague. Names changed when applicable. So my best friend, we'll call him Blue, is getting married this summer, awesome, to a girl who I'm fairly certain truly loves him, also awesome. I've been very vocally supportive of their relationship, and even recently helped them find a new house that would be great for raising a family closer to where our core friend group is. Yesterday he invited the boys over for some cards and some drinks, so I volunteered to go into the city, pick up another good friend of ours, we'll call Jim Eric, and drive 30 minutes out of town to Blue's place. This is fairly standard practice as we don't live in a major urban center, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to be the DD when we go visit Blue out in the boonies. So the night gets started, the other core half of our friend group comes over after a dinner they were at, and we're having a lovely evening together. During a hand of cards I ask what the best joke everyone had heard that week was, just to break things up a bit. One of the guys who arrived later says, definitely not the joke Eric made in the groomsmen's chat yesterday, and we all had a laugh and Eric's expense. He got us back later, don't worry. After waiting a couple of hands in quiet contemplation, I excuse myself to get a glass of water and have a smoke. I didn't want to leave right as he made the comment, as to not appear hurt by it. But it did hurt, and honestly had left me a bit shocked and irritable. This is the first time I had heard anything about the wedding party, so I did my best to put on a good face and make sure everyone was continuing to have a good time. When I came back inside, I was headed back to the man cave when Blue's fiancée, Heather, called me from their living room saying she needed some advice on something. It was silly. She had wanted to know if I thought the TV there would look better in X or Y position, based on how the sun shone through their windows. I picked up pretty quickly that this was just a distraction. A lot of the discussion points she wanted to know about were things we had already talked about. But I entertained it, and after 5 or so minutes, Heather checks her phone, and says, thank you for the insight. You're always so helpful with this sort of thing. Probably had been given the all clear from Blue. I grab a couple of beers from the fridge for the boys and make my way back to the man cave to cheers off. There he is. Heather asking for more furniture management advice, and other similar jabs. No big deal. I roll with it and act intentionally oblivious to the not so subtle air that had settled in the room. We carried on, had a good time, said our goodbyes and I begin the drive back to Eric's place. I ask him straight up if the wedding party had been set already. He tells me it had, and it was him, the two other guys we were with, Blue's childhood best friend, and Heather's younger brother. Eric told me that Heather distracted me so Blue could tell the boys to SDFU about any wedding talk. Heather's brother is a bit of an oddball. He's a stoner, which is whatever, but has never really made an effort to be part of our friend group. This is fine as well, everyone is entitled to have their own friends. It is just completely mystifying to me that my spot, I assume, got bumped for someone as disconnected from Blue as Heather's little brother. I just can't connect the dots as to A, why he got an invite to be a groomsman, and B, why I was never informed that I wasn't going to be one. It's their day at the end of everything and I'm happy to be invited to share that day with them. I was one of the first people he had told he was going to propose, even had me take the engagement photos for him. Now I'm feeling a bit bummed that I've been excluded, but I understand that at the end of it all, it's his day and I'm going to support him in any way I can. Just looking for some advice on if and how I bring up my feeling of exclusion to him, without making it seem like I want to steal the spotlight from him. Any and all insight is appreciated.